This is Duncan Lievi, post WrestleMania 42, Night 1. I'll be focusing on the main event and the result of that main event, which has left me very, very confused. I was initially very much on board with the direction of the match from a strategic standpoint, which was very exciting in some ways. Spoiler alert, going into the actual events. I thought they were doing the double turn. No one really believed they would be doing the double turn because there was too much writing on it for TKO. The babyface, the white meat babyface, Cody Rhodes, why would they allow him, the meal ticket, to be turned heel? Based on that belief, Randy Orton was going into the match as the favorite. There are many, many elements that are connected to this match, and I will be covering all of that, and it might be a little rambly because there is no script here. Well, let's see how this goes. Randy Orton, apparently rekindling his Viper persona from 2009 to, I believe, 2010, was back. And he was channeling that part, that sadistic persona, in order to secure his 15th world title. He turned, quote-unquote, heel on Cody Rhodes about a month back after becoming the #1 contender for the WWE Championship on the back of a victory at WWE Elimination Chamber. This match technically had Orton going in as heel, quote-unquote heel, and Cody Rhodes still as babyface. However, a lot of people would have been fooled that that was a mistake on my part, that I was giving the roles reversed, considering Orton was getting cheered everywhere. Even in this match, he was cheered heavily. Cody Rhodes, the apparent babyface, was being booed. Now, I believe this actually led to this match turning out the way it did, where, spoiler alert, Cody Rhodes defeated Randy Orton in the main event of WrestleMania 42 Night 1. They saw an opportunity which a bunch of people saw as a possibility. However, they never saw it as a probability because merch sales. Cody moves merch. Cody is still over with the kids, right? He might get booed, but there's too much writing on this. So when I saw that there was indeed a double turn occurring, it felt like, okay, well, my personal interest in seeing a veteran secure a 15th world title and return to his vicious ways might not be turning out to be true, or might not be coming to fruition, and yet a double turn would freshen up the overall stale product. Yay, in a way. Pat McAfee, the unwanted voice on the phone who apparently rekindled or encouraged Orton to rekindle the Viper persona, and the man with basically everyone asking, "Why are you here, Pat McAfee?" He was taken out of the match, and he was taken out of the match at the very beginning by another celebrity who was involved in this entire angle, former friend of Randy Orton, still friend of Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes was attacked by Pat McAfee and Randy Orton before the bell to the main event even rang, followed by Cody Rhodes delivering the crossroads to Pat McAfee. Orton had been temporarily neutralized because of a shoulder tackle into the corner, after which Jelly Roll appeared and body slammed Pat McAfee through the announce table, basically making it a one-on-one match. Then something very interesting happened, where this match, before it even started, was framed in a different light by Michael Cole, who brought up the Dave Meltzer report. Take it with a grain of salt, or it might be kayfabe and leaked for the exact purposes of this match. Probably spoiler alert. Michael Cole brought up reports that Orton is actually carrying an injury into WrestleMania, and it might be a back injury. even though there had been zero hints or indications that Randy Orton was actually working with a back injury. The longer the match went on, the more it seemed that this report was kayfabe, or leaked on purpose to swerve the fans. Now let's get to the actual match, even though it was partially frustrating because Randy Orton is such a good seller, and it was personally a little bit off-putting. Because again, I thought, yeah, okay, what's going to happen? Orton will not get his 15th, he will not break the tie with Triple H because, well, I don't know, does Triple H have any sort of issue with Orton crossing him? Is there some fixation on keeping Orton in the same frame as loser of WrestleMania main events? First to Triple H himself, then to Daniel Bryan, and then to Cody Rhodes. All WWE title matches, and Orton just never comes out victorious. Strange pattern. And Orton was going into this match as the as the heel who was getting heavy cheers. And Cody Rhodes was going in as the stale babyface who apparently was also feuding with TKO, the details of which I will discuss at the end of the match breakdown. Now I shall focus more on the action, as much of it as I can remember, late at night. So, Pat McAfee neutralized. The match starts, and Orton is selling the back. All of a sudden, with no indications prior to the match, Orton is selling the back. He cannot even stand up straight. Very stupidly, he goes for a top rope superplex and then sells the back again. The match never picks up any pace, and I thought, well, I believe this injury is kayfabe, which then again means that Orton matches have finally now, to me, become boring in a template sense, because ever since he's been back, much like the neck for Edge, the back for Orton is the overdone trope of limb targeting or body area targeting to soften up the opponent and then secure a victory. However, the pattern of the match did trigger the thought that, okay, they're doing a double turn, which would only do favors for Orton, because he's never getting booed, apparently. He basically told people leading up to the match that he's not doing it for the people, he's doing it for himself and his family only, and he got cheered. So, the double turn made sense, and that is exactly what I was kind of expecting, and that is, in many ways, what kind of ended up happening. And the repeat usage of kind of will be cemented with the post-match angle. If not for the post-match angle, I would only be disappointed insofar as I did want to see Orton get closer to his stated goal of crossing John Cena as the number one occupant of the list of most world titles held. But otherwise, I would be pretty happy with the finish because it made sense. They made something out of a strange situation. I will be alluding to Pat McAfee and the entire TKO angle at the end of it, and also the Triple H conspiracy regarding whether or not he wants Orton to cross his 14 title reigns record. Cody Rhodes started to display the killer instinct that Orton apparently regained due to, well, frustrations with Cody and Pat McAfee in his ear, all kayfabe. So Cody Rhodes was basically working heel. The match was extremely slow because Orton is too damn good at his job of selling, and it never really picked up pace, and yes, a bunch of times you started feeling sorry for the Viper Orton. Now, my frustration also stems from, you build this man reincarnated into his most vicious form. This new version of Randy Orton. Oh my god, 09 Orton is back. 09 Orton was back for that one single segment where he turned heel. And that was it. Never again did we see 09 Orton. It was again back to confused Orton. Yeah, I want to do it, and I'll do it with the 3 most destructive letters. I still love Cody, though. You know, he's kind of like a brother to me. Yeah, I'll do it because I'm doing it for my legacy. He kind of says it with a legacy. It's very unique to him. Kind of signature way of saying legacy. But yeah, that's just an aside. Come back to the match. It's just very slow. You feel bad for Orton. They're working it perfectly. They're very good storytellers, obviously. Cody is doing, hey, shrugging his shoulders. What can I do, you know? Because that's exactly what I should do. It's my killer instinct. And the student has become the master. And he's schooling his master because this Orton injury in the back is my opportunity, my being Cody's opportunity, to win the match, finally, and stop the curse of WrestleMania main events going against him, meaning Cody turning out to be the loser in so many occasions. He lost to Roman, he lost to Cena, and he won the second part of that Roman rivalry. I might be missing out on a Mania as well, in the middle somewhere. I believe so. Anyway, so, with all of this happening, I said, yeah, I can appreciate this match on a pure level, on a wrestling purist level. Okay, great. Let's see how this match turns out, and it actually worked out pretty well. They were working. Orton is a master at the little things, at the little details. You would enjoy this match if you have a little bit of patience, of course. The reason I said boring is because the back angle is getting overplayed every single match. If you want Orton to tell the story, which he can do in multiple various ways, he ends up doing it by selling the back and only the back. Now, I'm not sure who the producer of this match was, or whether it was completely up to Cody and Randy, and that was it. They're just overdoing this back angle. And it was not even built up. The build-up of that was Dave Meltzer reports. Do we really need to enter those into the kayfabe realm, if that is the case? There should have been some explanation in the build-up. That, okay, during that attack of Cody, where he got the better of Orton for a little bit, he takes a chair, he neutralizes Pat McAfee, and then proceeds to hit Orton with a chair shot on the back, where Orton can do his masterful job of selling the back, which can be the story of why Orton is coming into WrestleMania with a back injury, which he will then exploit, making Cody very, very heelish again, opportunistic. So, those are some what I thought to be missed opportunities, and still, yeah, makes sense to me. Okay, they'll win. Cody will be winning this match in the end. Let's see what happens next. Cody Rhodes is working this match heel from now on, basically. He's stomping on Orton. He sent Orton to the outside and then pushed Orton into the beams at the corner of the ring, bloodying Orton. And Orton was basically crimson near his nose and middle face area, which was again built up for sympathy toward the aging, veteran, injured Viper. That being the story they were telling, made perfect sense to me. Cody then proceeds to take Orton's blood at some point and wipe it against his chest as a receipt or a return of the initial Orton heel turn, where Orton did the same, wiped Cody's blood on the RKO Everyone t-shirt. Okay, good. Nice touch. Nice touch. I'm enjoying the storytelling in this match now. Orton is getting some minimal offense, once in a while gaining some momentum, some speed. And this is also where I knew that either it's a real injury to the back and Orton is just that damn good and adrenaline is making him do that wake-up taunt. The first time Orton was about to do the wake-up taunt, he didn't, because he thought better of it, because he was selling the injury, that, okay, I should not do it. Second time of calling, he actually did it, and he did it so smoothly, I believed, for sure, even stronger than before, that this injury was a kayfabe. So that was when the match picked up pace again. They did the other person's finisher, so Orton did a Cody Rhodes crossroads move for a near fall. Cody hit a very good RKO, to his credit. Again, a near fall. Randy kicked out. Okay, so this is going to be a mild spot fest, the nature of which we can only expect from Orton. And it was not boring. There was chance of this is awesome from the crowd because they sensed the story and the emotional surge that Cody Rhodes' apparent turn toward the dark side was taking. The trajectory of the match was kind of attractive. Yeah. So, after doing the other person's finisher, each other's finisher, they tried to do their own finishers. I think, I'm not sure if Cody landed his finisher one time. I think Orton kicked out of one crossroads, and Cody kicked out of an RKO. You know, typical main event WrestleMania shenanigans. Finishers are basically not finishers. They're, okay, you need to hit it 3-4 times for it to work. So, alright, you have that. In the middle of all of that, you get every indication you can hope for to see who has the crowd's favor. And Orton had the crowd's favor. You have that specific spot where the wrestlers are punching each other. Orton punches Rhodes. He gets huge cheers. Rhodes punches Orton. Loud boos. Underwhelmed. So you can see that the double turn is actually unfolding in front of your eyes. It's a beautiful thing, you know. It's a wonderful thing that you can see. So the story is unfolding exactly how you would predict it to unfold. Then, Randy Orton, being the slick operator that he is, has Cody flick him in the eye with an eye poke. Cody is basically working heel. Great. So Orton is basically temporarily blinded. The referee, Charles Robinson, classic Charles Robinson, is near him, and Orton, apparently thinking it to be Cody, RKO's Charles Robinson. Okay, wonderful. Nice touch, using the apparent restrictions that Orton is operating under. They have staged this amazing opportunity to see what will happen now. Again, sad for me as someone hoping to see some ground closed in for Orton insofar as his goal to become a 17, 18-time world champion, or 15 today. He becomes the defanged, stupid Viper. He plays stupid. Basically, laying out Charles Robinson, he's retreating a little bit to take account of what has happened. Cody, being the babyface, he's going to check on the referee. We can see that Cody is looking halfway at the Tron, and Orton is right behind him, and you have that, oh yeah, okay, so Orton is going to low blow Cody Rhodes. Sure, that's the direction they'll take. Orton is waiting for ages. Orton can clearly see that Rhodes has a clear view of the Tron, and Orton is just waiting. Like a confused lemon, he keeps on waiting for Cody Rhodes to turn around, after which Orton proceeds to, at a snail's pace, attempt to deliver a low blow. Now, of course, it doesn't happen. In fact, if that was scripted to actually strike, to actually get delivered successfully, that'd be something that Cody Rhodes would never be able to play out, as in work off as, oh yeah, you know, that happened. That would be a consistent black mark on his wrestling resume as far as I'm concerned. Just like unfortunate Gunther got tapped out by Jey Uso and he's never been able to run away from it. So, Cody Rhodes stops that low blow, goes on to low blow Randy Orton in turn. Okay, so basically, double turn has been cemented. People are booing Rhodes. Great storytelling. I'm enjoying this match. There were chants again. I think of this is awesome, and people are feeling bad for Randy Orton because blood near the eyes, back injury, Cody Rhodes being a heel, Randy Orton getting cheered, and apparently being this version, very, very vicious version, however, looking completely toothless, defeated, subdued. Not anything like 09 Orton. The student has become the master. I can see that story appealing on some level to some people. Okay, alright, so now let's wrap this up quickly. And Cody proceeds to deliver this, I'm not sure what that move's called, and he goes into the corner, steps on the second rope with his left foot, goes to the turnbuckle with his right foot, and then comes down to deliver. Basically, it's a Cody cutter, sure. So he goes to deliver that Cody cutter while Randy is basically just a sitting duck waiting to be cuttered. Instead, Randy turns it around, delivers his RKO, that signature spot wherever there's an aerial move incoming and he catches someone in the RKO. Very exciting spot. Of course, the problem is Charles Robinson is still laid out. So you can basically predict all the little signals that Orton is not winning this match. Of course, the Angel, or well, yeah, maybe Angel, or the supporter, the ally, the voice on the phone, and now his manager, Pat McAfee, walks out in a referee shirt with a neck brace, still selling the beating he took from Cody and Jelly Roll at the beginning of the match, or before the match began. Pat McAfee runs to the ring, starts counting 1, 2, and Cody kicks out, predictably. So this has got all the signs of where the match is going. Makes sense. I'm going with the flow of the ups and downs, emotional surges, what have you. Then, this is again, instance number 2 of Orton being a stupid person, stupid viper. Orton, not the human being, the performer. If he's going to be 09 Orton, vicious and all that, why is he waiting like a waffle when he can see Cody has a clear view of the Tron and he knows Orton is behind him? Why would Orton wait? Why would Orton do the predictable thing? And now, so I've recapped the first instance, the second instance of Orton's stupidity. En masse. Orton, in his delirium, in his silliness, he proceeds to RKO Pat McAfee. Now that could be something that could have been paid off at the end of the match, after Orton maybe won, where you could send the crowd home happy, and Orton could have removed Pat McAfee from the equation in the event that Orton's goal of securing the 15th World Championship was done. However, before that has been accomplished, while McAfee is the biased referee in Orton's favor, Orton being the opportunistic heel with voices in his head, and he's finally listening to said voices, Orton proceeds to not take advantage of a fallen Cody Rhodes, no. Not lining up for the punt to get a knockout shot and secure to lock in that title, no. Randy Orton proceeds to RKO Pat McAfee at that stage. Of course the crowd was happy about this because they're tired of Pat McAfee. And yet, when you look at what Orton should have done as a calculating heel, a menacing heel, this was the most silly thing you can come up with. The most flabbergasting, nearly blasphemous thing, a pretty much blasphemous thing, that Orton could have done. An enemy to his own intelligence, Randy Orton RKOs his only ally, the one on whose shoulder he was going to get some support while trying to win this match. He RKOs Pat McAfee now, when Pat McAfee can basically do a fast count and end this match. Also, another thing, why did Pat McAfee not do a fast count when he was counting the 3 for the RKO that Cody suffered? Anyhow, well, it's insulting my intelligence on so many levels that this is when I started to lose a little bit of the flow that I had earlier stated I was going along with. Cody Rhodes, now completely recovered from said RKO, proceeds to deliver the crossroads to Randy Orton, and owing to the unpredictable level of damage that is inflicted upon the delivery of the crossroads, sometimes it takes 3, sometimes it takes 0 because he wins by roll-up or something. Sometimes it takes 5, sometimes it takes 7. Today it took, I believe, just 2 because Randy Orton is not a finisher spam enthusiast. So I believe maybe it was his input, I can only guess. However, that was the finishing move of the match. He tied it up with a bow, Orton was not kicking out of that, and they had sold his condition to be pretty bad. Let me recount the things that were going against this version of Randy Orton. Injury to the back, not built up, and still a factor in this match, without any actual matches that could be attributed to as the reason for Orton's injury. Orton got bloodied. Yeah, he bladed, basically. It was a good blade job. So that was the second thing. Then Orton was not able to stand. He did silly... Oh yeah, I'm sorry, there was a third silly moment which should have counted as number 1 in chronology. Orton did a top rope superplex on a bad back. The man who's got the wherewithal and the presence of mind to not do his signature RKO wake-up taunt because it puts a strain on the back, did not have the presence of mind, the basic intelligence to avoid a top rope superplex. This is your intelligent, savage, opportunistic Randy Orton, apparently similar to the levels from 2009. So, that was the second thing that was going against Randy Orton. The back, the color, the eye, basically. And his on-again, off-again relationship with basic common sense for someone who's been a veteran of the game and apparently is in his most vicious state. On the back of all of this, I still have to appreciate the story that both performers were able to tell. For which, I was actually glad to have seen this match for the story. The performance and the depiction of some angles were very problematic, as I've stated in my rambling, and very, very early morning after WrestleMania, so I hope you forgive me for that. Now, we come to the confusing aspect of this whole thing. Cody Rhodes has successfully implemented a double turn, which is surprising. It is a little bit refreshing for sure. I'm appreciating that aspect. Orton, who is somehow still cogent, ambulatory, moves around, and snatches the belt while Cody is celebrating to a very, very disapproving crowd. Orton snatches the title, very gracefully smacks Cody in the head with said title. Cody is knelt in the middle of the ring. Orton holds the title. Everyone is cheering. Everyone is cheering the Viper for giving his lack of intelligence at basic junctures of this match. The Viper looks at the WWE title. He drops the title to his right, proceeds to take a few sinister steps back, calculates the steps, pumps his arms onto the ropes. And we know what's coming. They had already started chanting for the move. Randy Orton proceeds to punt Cody Rhodes in the middle of the ring to send people home happy? Sad? For sure confused. And not happy, because they were not happy about Cody Rhodes retaining the title. The story of the double turn successfully implemented. What was the point of the punt? You've got an anti-hero in Randy Orton who would have fresh opponents had he won. Cody Rhodes had a funeral-like mood at the end of SmackDown with CM Punk at the Go Home episode, one day before this main event. And this could be one of the ways they sell it. That, okay, Cody Rhodes knew that something was going to change, all his mutual appreciation with CM Punk, that very bizarre segment, was a foreshadowing of the Cody Rhodes heel turn. Because people thought it was just them signing off on their titles. However, a better option, Cody Rhodes is going to be a heel now. A heel who was just immediately defeated by the anti-hero post the main event, courtesy of the actual deadliest move in the history of the WWE, the punt. So your freshly crowned heel, freshly made heel was laid out immediately by the anti-hero after the match, courtesy of the actual deadliest move in the history of pro wrestling, never been kicked out of, usually sends people to hospitals, the return of the punt. And that is your way to somehow balance something. If the story was that the student has become the master, and he has defeated Orton at apparently Orton's own game, then send Orton back without giving him any strength, any positives, any strong look at the end of WrestleMania Night 1. However, at the end of that, Orton has laid out Cody with a very deadly move, the deadliest move. So what, Cody's going to be written off of television? It certainly does not make me more excited about this. It only tells me that they plan for this angle to continue, and Orton will probably get the title, maybe at Backlash, off of another competitor, or just the title would be vacated, or Cody will be the fighting champion who will be clearly hampered and Orton will pick up the pieces. And still, that would defeat the double turn, which is why this post-match angle is very confusing. If you wanted to successfully do the double turn, why would you make Orton deliver the punt? Maybe there are some educated answers out there. Maybe I'm missing something. I would love to hear about that. Now, the match being done, I will move to the surrounding elements. What I wanted to see happen. Okay? I appreciate the story they were trying to tell. For the most part, before the post-match angle until the end of the match, it made sense. Even though the deficiencies in the implementation I have already mentioned. What I would have preferred to see happen was, yes, Orton goes at it alone against Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes gets one little bit of distraction courtesy Pat McAfee. You paint Cody as a sympathetic babyface. However, Pat McAfee gets laid out, maybe by Jelly Roll, maybe by the all-conquering Cody Rhodes, only for someone who is actually part of a wrestling royal family, could be The Rock, could be one of the McMahons, could be even Roman Reigns, who kept saying, we will take the title back at Night 2 of WrestleMania against CM Punk. That could have been another way for Randy Orton to join whoever that was to fix the reveal of Pat McAfee. And then you can have Orton do the RKO, win the match, get his title, proceed to punt Pat McAfee, and have Cody chase. So that was my preferred ending, also because of the previously stated desire to see a veteran close in on another chase, the whole Orton will chase John Cena's record. That's a story, a multi-year story. So if I didn't get that, that's fine. At least make it make sense. If it's a double turn, okay. Why is Orton looking strong at the end of that? Make him go home looking like the most sympathetic babyface after the double turn. Why are you having him punt the heel when Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin did the double turn at WrestleMania 13 in one of the best matches in the history of the entire pro wrestling business? Bret Hart looked like a heel, being the babyface before the match. He would not let go. Austin was bleeding. Austin did not give up. Or Austin did what John Cena should have done in John Cena's retirement match. Austin did what John Cena should have done in John Cena's retirement match, which is to pass out in pain, and yet he did not give up. Randy Orton could have been carried out of the WrestleMania main event, being the babyface. But no, Orton had to wake up and deliver the punt. Therefore, confusing. Now, as to why, I already said what I would have preferred to see happen. Now, the Triple H angle. I'm not sure. There are some who believe that Triple H just doesn't like the idea of Randy Orton winning a title because that would break the tie with Triple H. Now, do I believe it? No. Do I think it is possible? Yes. So, with all of that said, if you take away the punt angle at the end of the match, this is a good main event, with Orton carrying the bulk of the credit while Cody would carry the heelish tendency credit, something he said he was not sure he could do. The story told in the ring was exemplary. Orton worked the injury masterfully. Orton believably misfired the RKO on Charles Robinson, allowing Cody to play up even more of the heelish tendencies, the opportunism, the selling of the story that Cody had become the master, and also Cody had become opportunistic and learned from Randy Orton's 09 persona, the likes of which Orton himself, even though had promised he would inherit or inhabit, ultimately he did not. That is a good story to tell in the main event. Then why would you make Orton go into the final segment of the night looking like the powerful figure? And I get it, maybe they're planning for SummerSlam. They'll reverse it, that Orton will get the title at SummerSlam. Apparently, that's the entire shtick now. Heels win with some shenanigans at WrestleMania, and babyfaces regain the title at SummerSlam. It's like John Cena won being a heel at WrestleMania, then lost being the face at SummerSlam. Which would be annoying, which seems to be where this could be going. And yet those are my touch-ups for what I believe was a good idea and implemented rather poorly. The execution of the 3 silly moments of the match from Randy Orton, if I can recall them, I will mention it. The superplex, yes. The delayed low blow attempt, what is going on with that? The moment, the most inopportune moment, non-fortuitous moment to strike down your only ally. Those 3 do not align with a clever anti-hero, with a clever Viper, with a person who's looking to do anything he can to win number 15. It does not align at all. Cody, the booking of Cody, had been perfect. Killer Instinct, yes. Going against what he had said, me being that, oh, I'm not sure if I can do that, I've got a dream job, my family is wonderful, I've got 2 little girls who look up to me, or something like that, something I'm paraphrasing. So he could not find this version, this sadistic version. However, he did find that as the match went on, courtesy Orton's probably for sure, well, most likely, kayfabe injury, bloodying Orton, not showing any remorse for apparently his mentor, all of that. Great story. Why the punt? We'll find out. It just watered down the impact of the story being told when Orton punted Cody at the end of WrestleMania. Thank you to everyone for listening to my rambling of the main event and my feelings toward it. I'm not sure if I'm returning in any regular capacity. However, this was a match that I have been looking forward to actually watching, even though the build-up has been underwhelming in many ways. Pat McAfee's a decent heel, though. Even though they kept on saying wrong messenger, right message. I'm not even sure if the message was perfectly delivered. The wording of the message was strange. Who are the 5'5" wrestlers who are having 45-minute Iron Man matches? Not sure. Just, if he wanted more attitude in the wrestlers, he could easily point to Randy Orton being the perfect person to do that. The failure to build any actual angle where Randy could have sustained a back injury, and yet you again go to the back, tiresome. Making an opportunistic Randy Orton apparently back to his very best, looking stupid 3 times in the same match. Very, very underwhelming. Disappointing. That punt, nonsensical punt at the end of the match, after doing a double turn, perplexing. Pat McAfee and his minimal effect in the match, perplexing. No, not perplexing. Rather good. Why did Pat McAfee not do a fast count? Perplexing. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking about. Yeah, Jelly Roll was perfect in this match. Cody was damn near perfect in this match too. Randy Orton, the booking was strange. His performance was exemplary. He just showed that there is still a place for the old school performance and clinical attention to detail. The man is a master of his craft, and whatever comes next, I will be excited about. Good storytelling, great match overall. If I can put my brain on pause for just a few minutes to ignore the nonsensical qualities in some of those moments. So yeah, overall, I have not talked about the entire evening. The entire evening was kind of okay. The main event was, overall, let's say, a solid B. Yeah. That would be the general grade for the entire thing. Yeah. Until next time. I'm not sure if I'm back in any regular capacity. However, I will be following some of the Orton, Cody, maybe Roman Reigns matches as we go along, and more if it comes to fruition. Thank you very much.